Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it. Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Today, my special guest is Miss Bridget Fisher. Thank you, Ms. Fisher, for accepting our invitation to come on.
And thank you for inviting me, Miss Val.
Okay, and the show we're going to talk about why are we giving mixed signals. That's going to be a deep and interesting conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever give mixed signals?
I try not to. Honestly, I try to be straight up forward, open with everyone.
But you've received mixed signals from other people?
I have received mixed signals.
Okay. And when you get those mixed signals, how do you deal with them?
When you give mixed signals to people, you create problems. And to have people mislead you, because that's basically what a mixed signal is misleading people. Having people mislead you, it can be hurtful.
Oh, my.
Because I was hurt by people that were close to me, that I did look up to. But when the truth was uncovered, it was hurtful.
Okay, then. That lets you guys know we're getting ready to have a candid conversation. I thank you, Ms. Bridget. I also asked before we really get into this that you tell the people a little bit about you. I think they asked you for a couple of words to describe yourself. Did they ask you for that?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what words those are and why do they describe you?
First and foremost, God-fearing.
Okay.
I'm a patient person, considerate, intellectual, and I consider myself to be humble.
Okay.
Number one, I'm God-fearing because I decided to give my life to Christ.
Okay.
And that lets me know right there that I do fear God.
Okay.
Number two, I said I'm patient because I work with children.
Okay.
And that has been my occupation for 19 years.
Okay.
So you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And I work with the younger ones, 4-year-olds.
Oh, God, yeah.
So.
You must be patient. Yes.
So very patient, very patient. And I feel that I'm considerate because I like to look at the other person. I like to, give them a chance to make themselves or make me aware of what they may be going through. We don't know.
You don't know.
You know, a lot of times we don't know why people make certain moves, why they say certain things. So be considerate. You know, think about other people. Think about their feelings.
Okay.
Be considerate.
Okay. Well, guys and gals that are out there listening to this conversation, it's going to get deep. Miss Bridget has already let us know that she is a God-fearing woman. She is considerate. And she is patient. So I hope she can show a little patience with me today. No, just see, this is going to be just fine.
Of course.
I just want to just kind of start off the generational differences. We're just going to kind of go there. Miss Bridget is sitting here. Bridget is sitting here with me, and I think we're probably around the same age group. And so with that being said, I want to talk about the generational differences. And that's kind of where we're going to start off with. In your experience, do you believe that there is always going to be a disconnect between the younger and older generation? And why?
Yes, I do. I really believe that. Number one is because times has changed so much since I was younger. I'm 49 years old.
Okay.
So time has changed so much, not only with in your home, but even with technology, which has played a big part in the generational differences. When I was coming up, we didn't have the different types of phones, and we didn't have you go to the Google and you Google whatever question you want. We didn't have that. So we were guided strictly by our parents and God. That was our leadership, God and our parents. But now, with the generation that's coming up now, there are so many different types of leadership. And they have gotten away from the most important leadership, which is God and their parents.
I want to agree with you on that and take that a little further because I think what has happened also with the younger generation, because they have so much access to technology. We are using those technologies, or they're using those technologies as ways to babysit their kids. So they'll stick a phone in their hands so that they can be distracted or they can calm down. Or if you go to a restaurant, they have a little iPad there for them to play with versus learning how to behave in a restaurant. So I agree with you on that. The flip side of that is those kids are so much more, in my opinion, tech savvy. They can teach us a thing or two.
Yes.
And so it is a double-edged sword. And I think the younger generation has to do a better job of managing what's going into their kids.
Yes.
Because everything on that internet, most of the stuff on the internet, their little minds should not be exposed to it.
Right.
And it's so true that a lot of the younger generations are not, I don't want to say that they don't know Christ. They're not they're not as involved or taking them to church as or sending them to church as what we came up with, and that's also hurting a whole nother generation. I think that there are some, not all, there are some that are definitely into the feeling thing. Oh God, it's kind of like the incense and burning incense and all of that stuff, and that's a whole nother spirit if
Right.
you would go there.
Yes.
And so I would agree with you on that statement you made. Why do you think the children are hesitant or afraid to talk about certain things with their parents?
The thing is, they are hesitant because a lot of, again, like you say, not all, but a large percentage of our families have not made that connection and that relationship with their children. Number one, like you said a few minutes ago, technology. The children spend more time in front of the television, more time on their iPads, more time on their phones than they do with actually having that conversation with their parents and building that relationship with their parents.
Where they feel comfortable.
Exactly. And you have that with times that the family sat down. When dad came from work, when kids came from school, mom had dinner ready, they sat down, they had a conversation.
About how
was your day?
That's right.
How was your day today? Did you run into any problems? Are you okay? Is there anything you need to talk to me about? I made it a point with my kids when they were growing up. They're all adults now, they've all moved out. But I made it a point with them when they were growing up. Before I go to bed at night, I would go in their room. Anything you want to talk about? Give them that opportunity. Let them know that I'm willing to listen. Have that relationship with them. So when they do come across a problem, they're not so hesitant to come to you.
And I think, and I agree with you. And I think the other thing on that is we can't be, and this is one of my pet peeves, we can't be so holier than thou that we're unwilling to hear them. And at the same time, sometimes our children and our grandkids will give us a shocker test to see what reaction we're going to get.
Right.
And I think we should be more willing and open to hear them because they're going to get the information from somewhere.
Exactly.
And I'd rather they get the information from me who love them, the good information, versus going out in the street. So
that's right, because people out there, like you say, the main thing is that we love them. So we want the best for them. So we're going to give them truth and honesty.
Right.
Whether they understand that it's the best thing at that time
at
or
that
not,
time,
we're still going to give it to them.
Right.
And that's the thing, because out there, they may not get the truth. They may get a watered-down version.
Well, they're going to get a watered-down version, or they're going to get the advice of what fits the narrative at that time. And it may not fit the best thing for them, but it fits the narrative of what someone wants them to do or think. Right. And so I think we as parents and grandparents, we need to spend a little more time listening and being willing to take that shocker test. When they come to us and they say something that's off the cuff that we're not accustomed to, instead of just immediately shutting them down, ask a few questions. Why? Why do you feel that way? What do you think?
Right. And if I could, Miss Valerie,
Yes.
I want to say this, and it's okay to sometime, if I could put it in these words, it's okay to sometime go outside of that spiritual box.
Yes. No, it's okay to go out that box
Yeah.
because not everybody is in there. And if you're unwilling to go out, how are you going to bring somebody in? You know, it's so funny you said that because that's definitely how I feel. Going out of that spiritual box doesn't mean that I have put God to the side.
Right.
He is in me. He is all around me. He is all for me. But I can't go and reach someone that doesn't know him by being holier than thou.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
wow. Whew. All right. Miscommunication in the marriage. Are you currently married?
Yes.
Okay. Let's
Yes.
talk about it then. How long have you been married?
24 years this past September.
20. Congratulations.
Thank
24.
you.
Was he
Thank
your childhood sweetheart? Where did you
I've
meet
been
him
knowing
at?
him since I was 5 years old.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
We was raised up in the country, Mississippi,
Okay.
and he was right down the street across the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he was. There was a field between our houses, and his sister and I were really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 5 years old, and he was 9.
And that was your baby.
But I didn't think it would be.
Well, of course not at
No.
5, right? Well, let's talk about miscommunication in a marriage. I am married too.
Okay.
I have a wonderful husband, my childhood sweetheart.
Oh, wow.
Since 1978, we have 5 grown kids and 9 grandbabies. So
Okay.
I can definitely say that there has been miscommunication. And anyone that's in a relationship say that it's not. I would have to push back and say, well, do y'all even talk?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you definitely have miscommunication. Is it safe to say that married couples oftentimes argue due to miscommunication?
Very safe to say. Very safe to say. But let me start off by saying this. I tell anyone the key to not just marriage, but the key to any good, successful relationship is good communication. You can have communication, but you need good communication.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
When you say good communication, what's good, effective communication from your perspective?
Honesty.
Mm.
Honesty. Be honest with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes honesty may hurt, but in the long run,
you're going to work through it.
you're going to work through it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I've learned, you can't keep things fake because the truth hurts more when it's uncovered.
That's right.
You can discover the truth, but when it's uncovered, because see, uncovered means it's been being covered
up. Mm-hmm.
And as it's covered up, it's building and it's building and it's
And
building.
it's going to come out.
And it's going to come out.
And it's
And
better
it may come out the wrong way.
most of the time it will because you're covering up a lie.
A lie.
And it's going to be exposed. And a lot of
Exactly.
times it's exposed by the very person you hope wouldn't expose you.
The Love and Victory Show with Val is brought to you by L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, a nonprofit equal opportunity provider for people living with disabilities. When you donate to L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, not only are you helping someone further their education, acquire job skills, and find a job, you are also doing your part to create a stronger, more diverse, and inclusive society. L&V also provides resources for counseling for the disabled and their families. To find out more, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit lverinc.com or call 832-336-0126. Once again, that's lverinc.com or 832-336-0126. With L&V Enterprise Resources Incorporated, the possibilities are endless. Let's explore them together. VK Consultant Group is a proud sponsor of the Love and Victory Show with Val. Are you thinking of starting a medical practice and need some help? Well, VK Consultant Group has been awarded Top Medical Practice Consultant Service of 2020. For over 3 decades, they've offered services like concierge medicine, credentialing, billing, revenue cycle management, and so much more. For more information, visit vkconsultantgroup.com or call 713-893-7401. Once again, that's vkconsultantgroup.com or 713-893-7401. VK Consultant Group, your competitive edge.
I'm going to go back to something that you said earlier on. You were talking about being let down by someone that was close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that because you're going to help someone today.
Okay. This particular person was really close to me. And I looked up to them in a way that maybe I shouldn't have, because it's like I found no fault in the person. And when the truth was uncovered, it was really, really hurtful, because all of these years, it had been years that I looked up, to this person so much. And when I found out that she wasn't really what I thought she was, and that could have been fault on me too, because one thing, we never put our trust in man.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe we saw something and didn't want to deal with it. Because a lot of times we see the truth, but to go there is sometimes in our mind maybe a little more painful than actually dealing with it.
Right, because like I say again, it's who that person is. When you discover that they've been sending mixed signals all this time, that they're not really what you thought they were, and how they would come to you and give. Now, and people that do send mixed signals can give good advice, but the advice that you're giving me, are you going by that same advice?
But again, that goes back to, we see it, but we don't want to deal with it.
We don't want to deal with
it. Because that's someone, I hate to say it, and this is especially us as women, we are emotional beings, and it's and we're loyal for a very long time, and it's difficult for us to cut off unhealthy relationships until, especially when we're unhealthy.
And Ms. Val, it's hard to get back. It's hard to trust the next person.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
When people mislead you and send you mixed signals, and when these things are uncovered, it makes it hard to trust the next person, which can also be damaging or hard to get into a new relationship.
And that's true. And one of the things that I believe, it's not the person. We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
That's right.
But spiritual wickedness from high places.
That's right.
And if we remember that, we can still love that person as God is healing us and moving us on and growing us. And it's difficult to do. Very difficult. I'm going to be the first one to say it.
Yes.
When I was hurt, and I never forget one day my mother said to me, she said, you're going to have to forgive them. The forgiveness is not about them, it's about you.
Right.
And until you forgive them, you can't move forward. They still have a hold on you.
That's right.
And so it's not about them. As long as you're holding on to that pain and that hurt, you can't move forward.
You can't. And it's doing more damage to you than it actually is to that person.
Yeah, because they're moved on. They forgot about what they done. They done moved on to the next victim.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Did I say victim? Yeah. But literally, they've moved on. They've forgotten about it. And you're still sitting there holding it as it's a badge of honor. They hurt me.
And it was so difficult for me, Miss Val, to every time I would see this person, my whole spirit would change.
They had a stronghold on you.
And one time I just began to talk to God, like, you have to do something for me. I can't let this person have this type of power over me.
Have you since had a conversation with them?
I have.
Is it better?
And it's better, but it's not the way the relationship was before.
It will never be.
Yeah, and that's, and I had to learn that too, because I was feeling like, well, if I'm saying in my mind that this relationship won't be the same, am I still holding something against this person? But then I had to, no. Don't
mean that you have to go and put yourself back in that situation.
Exactly.
However, you are supposed to forgive. Forgive does not mean I go sit back and start over again you to run that Mack truck over me again. I'm sorry.
And it doesn't mean that I don't love you.
And it doesn't mean I don't love you.
It does not mean that.
Wow. Hey guys, I know you guys are enjoying this conversation because I am. I'm going to go there a little more. Do you believe your spouse should always know how you're feeling about something? Or should you keep your feelings away? And the reason I say that, I'll just use myself. Sometimes I'm in a mood, and the mood has nothing to do with my husband. It has nothing to do with what's going on at home. Sometimes I just got a lot of stuff going on. Do you think I should sit, or do you think a person should sit down and say, I'm in a bad mood? What's your thought on that?
I don't feel like you necessarily have to let your spouse know what the mood is about, but I would definitely say, let them know, baby, this has nothing to do with you.
I agree. I wanted to hear you say that because that's one of the things that I had to learn to do. Because they deserve to know that you're hurting, or you're not feeling good, or whatever is going on. You may not be ready to talk about it, what it is.
Yes.
But you don't want them to feel as if they are the problem.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
that's that good communication.
Good communication. Good communication.
Good communication.
And it's okay, because
Yes.
a lot of times, the thing is that we have to be so considerate of our spouse that I have to think, maybe what I'm going through, I don't want to bring him or her down with it. So let me just let them know that, like I said a few minutes ago, nothing to do with you. It's just something that I'm dealing with right now.
That goes back to, why are we giving mixed signals? We tend, and sometimes we as women and people, we put those mixed signals out because we're hurting and we want someone else to hurt.
Right.
And that's something that we really need to check, because that's so unfair to the other person.
It is.
It's very unfair.
Very.
So, okay. All righty. Do you believe we can sometime misunderstand when God is attempting to speak to us?
Definitely.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Definitely. Number one, you have to be in a place to receive and to hear from God. A lot of times we feel that God is speaking to us, but we're not even in a place
To hear him.
to hear God's voice. We have to understand that when we believe that God is speaking to us, there's nothing wrong with asking for confirmation.
He wants us to.
He wants us to.
He wants us to.
And it doesn't mean that we're any
questioning
less.
him. That's right.
Exactly.
No, he wants us to. We have to talk to God just like we're talking to our earthly
That's right.
father.
That's right.
Our earthly mother. Just talk to him. He wants that type of intimate relationship with us.
Exactly.
So it's good to ask for
It's good.
understanding.
That's right. Because even in the Word, it said, in all that you get an understanding. So we want to make sure, we want to be absolutely sure without a doubt, this is what God wants me to do. This is God speaking to me.
Wow. I want to say this. I want to ask this question. What advice do you have for someone struggling with understanding God's plan for them?
Ms. Val, I would say you have to keep seeking. Keep seeking. Don't stop. If it's years, months, years, however, keep seeking God for his plan for you. And I say that because I was teaching, and people would just come to me and just start talking to me and telling me like personal things. And it would embarrass me because I'm like, this is a stranger. How can they be telling me all this stuff? And I was like, what is it? What is it? Do I have like a magnet? What is it?
Why am I
couldn't
drawn?
understand it. And I remember one day I was getting ready to go to dialysis, and I was standing in my mirror. And I said, God, I know there's something else in my life that you want from me besides ministering. And I didn't get an answer right off. It was maybe about 3 months later. I was in my mirror again. And God told me, he said, not only are you a minister, but you're a counselor. And I said, and when I heard that, my mind went back to the question that I asked him. So if we keep seeking, God is going to let us know his exact plan for us. Now, it's up to us to follow the plan, but he's going to let you know his exact plan.
And the plan is not always what we want. It's his plan for us. And that's the key thing we need to understand. We can't go saying, well, this is what I want.
Right.
If you're asking God to show me the plan you have for my life, then that's his plan.
That's right. That's his plan.
That's his plan.
That's his plan.
And we have to trust his plan.
That's right.
Wow.
And be willing to follow it.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times when we come into Christ, we say, God used this vessel.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know
How he's going to use
he's
it.
going to use that vessel.
I hear you say that you are a minister.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. Share with the people.
Well, I'm a minister at Word Deliverance, Spirit of Praise, under the leadership of Pastor Johnny Milton, First Lady Ethel Milton. And it's challenging sometimes.
Yes. It's okay.
But it's beautiful.
It's challenging because, could it be because for women in the ministry is a little different than it is for men? Mm-hmm. Would you say that that's the challenge, or would you say, what would it be?
That would be one of the challenges, you know, but I can truthfully, honestly say I don't have that challenge issue with my pastor.
That's a wonderful thing.
I can honestly say that.
That's a wonderful
But even when you go out or when you speak to other people and they find out that you are ministering, they look at you kind of differently when you're a woman.
Well, that's because they're having their own issues.
And it's like, you know, they kind of ask you again, you a minister? Not everybody, but you a minister? Yeah. Because some people haven't come into that knowledge that God can use whomever he please.
And he will use whomever he please.
Right. That's right.
Well, I guess I want to say this to, well, I don't guess, I know I want to say this. I want to thank you, Bridget, for being so transparent and so real to want to be a blessing to the listeners and share, because we really need to think about, why are we giving mixed signals?
Right.
And that's something we need to correct.
That's right.
And giving mixed signals really do impact other people.
They do.
And so I hope this little short conversation we had here, but that was very candid, we've been able to kind of unpack the importance of stop giving mixed signals.
That's right.
Or understanding why we're doing it, or at least being conscious of it when we're doing it so that we can correct it. I want to thank you for sitting on the Love and Victory Show with Val's podcast.
Oh, great. It was great.
We will have an opportunity to do this again.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, we will. We will. Would you like
beautiful.
to leave the people with anything?
I just want to say, if you are sending mixed signals, or if you was the one that received mixed signals, take that opportunity to learn from it. And also take the opportunity, although you may have been hurt or confused, try to move on into a different aspect of your life. Try to forgive that person, or, you know, maybe they didn't realize they were sending mixed signals. You know, there's always two sides to every story. Maybe they just didn't realize it. But just in case they did or didn't, however it may go, remember that your life was impacted. And that if you don't forgive that person and move on, then it's going to continue to impact you. And you're going to be at a standstill instead of fulfilling what you can fulfill in your life and just getting out of life everything that God has for you in your life. Please don't let mixed signals stop you. And if you are one of those ones that's sending mixed signals and you know that you are sending mixed signals, even with that, ask God to help you so that you can stop sending mixed signals, so that you can fulfill what God has for you in your life.
Wow. And this was Bridget Fisher. I'm just so honored and grateful. Hey, guys, I would like to say to you guys, please, please, please remember to listen to the Love and Victory Show on our social media platform. Go to our social media platforms, and they are out there. If you went to our website, Spotify, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. I don't know all the things that they have us on, but check us out on our social media. And until next time, Miss Bridget, we'll talk soon.
All right.
All righty. Thank you. Bye.